Have you ever met someone who seemed to see you instantly, like they could read your mind, finish your sentences, and mirror your soul? It feels magical at first, almost like destiny itself arranged the meeting. But months later, you find yourself emotionally exhausted, confused, and questioning your sanity. If this story sounds familiar, there's a very specific reason not. It has everything to do with being an INFJ. Narcissists are not just attracted to INFJs by chance, they are magnetically drawn to them. And understanding why could save you from years of pain, manipulation, and emotional abuse. The paradox of the INFJ: to grasp this strange attraction, you need to understand what it means to be an INFJ. INFJs are among the rarest of the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types, making up only about 1 to 3% of the population. They're empaths, intuitive healers, and visionaries rolled into one. Their gift is deep emotional insight. They sense what others feel, often before those people do themselves. They crave authentic connection in a world obsessed with superficiality. But this same emotional sensitivity comes with a hidden cost. INFJs often feel misunderstood, isolated, and overlooked. Because their thoughts and emotions run so deep, they rarely find people who can truly meet them at that level. So when someone finally comes along who seems to get them, who mirrors their depth and intensity, it feels like they found home. Unfortunately, that home is often a fake. Why narcissists target INFJs? Here's the chilling truth. Narcissists study people. They have an uncanny ability to observe and imitate emotional behavior without actually feeling it. And INFJs, with their emotional openness and nurturing energy, are the perfect prey. To a narcissist, an INFJ is a gold mine. They crave admiration, attention, and emotional energy, the very things INFJs give so freely. But the narcissist's intentions aren't genuine. They don't want connection. They want control. They want someone who will reflect their greatness, soothe their ego, and never challenge their false image. INFJs are especially vulnerable because they believe in the goodness of people. They see the potential in others, even when reality screams otherwise. And that's exactly what keeps them trapped. The narcissistic playbook. 3 phases of manipulation. Every relationship with a narcissist follows a predictable pattern. Psychologists call it the idealized devalue, discard cycle. For an INFJ, it feels like a tragic love story written in emotional code. Phase 1, the idealization love bombing. This is where the magic begins. The narcissist showers you with affection, attention, and admiration. They text constantly, praise your depth, mirror your interests, and seem to understand you better than anyone ever has. If you love poetry, they quote Italiano. If you care about empathy, they tell stories about their sensitive side. If you believe in soul connections, they'll call you their twin flame. This stage is intoxicating. INFJs often go through long periods of emotional solitude fall for this intensity fast. It feels like the universe finally rewarded their patience. But in truth, this isn't love. It's strategy. The narcissist is studying you, collecting data about your insecurities, your hopes, and your emotional triggers. They're creating the perfect illusion. And once you're hooked, the mask begins to slip. Phase 2. The devaluation, emotional manipulation. Suddenly, things start to change. The warmth you once felt begins to fade. Their texts become shorter, their tone colder. They criticize little things about your reactions, your sensitivity, your boundaries. They tell you you're too emotional or too sensitive, planting seeds of self-doubt. This is called gaslighting. It's one of the narcissist's most effective weapons. They distort your reality so subtly that you start to question your own sanity. Did I really overreact? Am I being unreasonable? Maybe it is my fault. Meanwhile, they begin breadcrumbing you, offering small doses of affection to keep you hooked. You chase their approval, trying to win back the warmth they gave so easily in the beginning. What you don't realize is that this is part of the plan. INFJs are problem solvers by nature. They believe love can heal anything. So when the relationship starts crumbling, they don't walk away. They double down. They give more, love harder, and sacrifice deeper. And that's exactly what the narcissist wants. Phase 3. The discard abandonment. Once you start seeing through their manipulation, the narcissist loses interest. To them, you've outlived your usefulness. They'll either ghost you, replace you, or emotionally withdraw until you end things so they can play the victim. By this point, you're emotionally depleted. You feel like you've lost yourself. But here's the dark twist. While you're grieving, the narcissist is already love-bombing someone else. They repeat the cycle endlessly, because it's not about love, it's about feeding their ego. Why INFJs stay, you might wonder. If INFJs are so intuitive, why don't they see it coming? The answer is empathy. INFJs feel people's pain. Even when the narcissist hurts them, they sense the brokenness behind the behavior. They think, maybe I can help them heal. But narcissists don't want healing. They want control. And every time you forgive them, they see it as permission to push further. INFJs also struggled with setting boundaries. They don't want to hurt others or seem selfish. But without boundaries, they become emotional sponges absorbing every bit of the narcissist's chaos. It's a painful lesson, but one every INFJ eventually has to learn. Compassion without limits becomes self-destruction. The mirror effect. Why the attraction feels so strong. Here's where the psychology gets fascinating. Narcissists use a tactic called mirroring. They copy your personality traits, hobbies, and emotional language to make you feel deeply understood. But they're not actually connecting, they reperforming. For an INFJ who's used to being misunderstood, this feels like finding their twin soul, but it's an illusion. What you're seeing is your own emotional world reflected back to you. The narcissist is not showing you who they are, they're showing you who you are. That's why it's so hard to let go. You're not just losing a person, you're losing a reflection of your own soul. Breaking the cycle. So how do INFJs protect themselves? Awareness is the first step. Once you recognize the pattern, you stop blaming yourself. You see the manipulation for what it is, not what you wish it could be. Here are practical steps to protect your peace. Slow down connections. If someone seems too perfect too quickly, that's a red flag. Real connection takes time. Observe patterns, not promises. Narcissists talk about empathy. Don't show it. Pay attention to consistency, not intensity. Set boundaries early. Notice how they react when you say no. A healthy person respects it. A narcissist takes it as a challenge. Listen to your intuition. Your gut will whisper before your mind rushes. If something feels off, trust that feeling. Stop trying to fix people. Healing others is noble, but it's not your job to repair someone who refuses to change. The power of awakening. When INFJs finally break free from a narcissist, something incredible happens. They awaken to their own strength. They realize their empathy is not a weakness. It's a superpower. But like any power, it needs control and direction. You start valuing peace over chaos, truth over fantasy, and authenticity over flattery. You stop seeking mirrors and start seeking equals. You learn that love isn't supposed to hurt. It's supposed to heal. And maybe the most beautiful part of all, you rediscover yourself. Because narcissists don't just steal your time. They steal your reflection. Healing means reclaiming that reflection, piece by piece, until you finally see your true self again. The real reason narcissists are so drawn to INFJs. To summarize it all in one sentence. Narcissists are drawn to INFJs because INFJs are everything they are: not deep, genuine, empathetic, and whole. The narcissist's world is a hollow void of ego and insecurity. The INFJ's presence fills that void temporarily, like sunlight entering a dark cave. But once the narcissist drains that warmth, they move on to find another source. Yet, here's the twist of poetic justice. Once an INFJ learns to see through the illusion, they become untouchable. Narcissists can no longer manipulate what they can't control. And that's the true transformation from empath to empowered. So, if you're an INFJ watching this, know this truth. You were never the problem. You were the light that exposed the darkness. And while narcissists may chase that light forever, they'll never truly possess it, because it was never theirs to begin with. INFJs don't need to dim their light to avoid narcissists. They just need to shine it with wisdom. Once you know the pattern, it loses its power. You begin to attract people who value your depth, not exploit it. And that's when your intuition, your empathy, and your love finally become what they were always meant to be, your greatest strengths.